Hello, I'm here to explain to you how to use a bilingual dictionary, and hopefully from this tutorial you and your pupils will be able to get a better grip, if you'll pardon the expression, on a bilingual dictionary. The first thing you need to remember, or to tell your pupils, is that the dictionary is put into two sections. The first section will always be the French, Spanish or German words with their English translation, and the second half would be your English words, of which you can find the French, Spanish or German counterpart. Often they will say to you, I can't find the word, it's not in the dictionary, because they're probably looking in the wrong section. Now the first part to do is finding a word, and that is quite simple. If I was to find my word la lessive, which I come across on my paper, I would simply look in the dictionary in the first section, and I would find lessive, washing powder. Nothing too taxing there, hopefully. And what you can do is you can give them a group of words to quickly find the English meaning, perhaps turn it into a little game where the first person to find the word. Then we move on to the trickiest section of finding the word that you want in either French, Spanish or German. One thing you would need to let your students know is that they will need to find whether a word is a noun, an adjective or a verb, or indeed as it comes down to plural. These are simply in the dictionary as N for a noun, ADG for a describing word, an adjective, or VT, VI meaning verb. A transitive verb, an intransitive verb. A verb that is transitive is something that can be something to. So you would go to, for example, but an intransitive is something where if you can use the word to, it will be a transitive verb. Now, if I wanted to find my word for image in Spanish, I would find the letter N, which denotes that it is a noun, and at the end I have the letter F, which tells me that it would be feminine, so la imagen. Similarly, imagination, I would find is imaginación, which is my noun, and F denotes that it is feminine. Sometimes they might not be able to find the word they are looking for. You need to hunt slightly through. We have imitate, and then in the middle, imitation. And again, it's a noun, imitación, F, meaning it's feminine. Of course, you will need to let your students know about the differentiation, or the difference, I should say, between a noun and a verb. For example, the word stick. They might find the word stick as in a walking stick, a wooden stick, when in actual fact they want the verb to stick. So they would need to look through to make sure that it's either N for the noun or the V for their verb, to ensure they get the correct word that they're looking for. Now, when you've gone through that, I often find a good practice is to have words where they have to find out if they are masculine, feminine or plural, or indeed a noun, an adjective or a verb. And if you have a smartboard activity, then you can invite pupils to the board, or simply as a card sort activity. And they would find from the dictionary that stilo was a masculine word. They would find pomme would be N with F at the end, which denotes that it is feminine, and if it would go up. And ciseaux, they would see that it was plural, in which case I would put it into the, if it would go, but my scissors don't seem to be a bit blunt, but it would go into the ciseaux part. Technology. Another thing that you could do with your students is to have an image. And from this, they can then find and label the different parts on the picture. So they would find the word for car, and they would look up the word car, and hopefully they would find the correct word for voiture, and then they could place in the word voiture into. And I would ideally drag voiture up into there to show it. Let's take the mountain to Muhammad and have the car. There it is. And so they could have this to find words and label. Now, to introduce this, I would recommend that it was introduced to your Year 5 or your Year 6 students, primarily because a dictionary is in alphabetical order, and sometimes if a student hasn't got their alphabet, doesn't have their alphabet strongly secure knowledge of, then they will struggle in actually finding the words they're looking for. Also, spelling of words, they would need to have a fairly good grip on how to spell words, and certainly some of the common flaws, the word right, trying to find the right word for the difference between W-R-I-T-E or R-I-G-H-T. And so I would recommend that they have a sound base to begin with their alphabet and their words. Well, I hope that that gives you a little bit of an insight on how to use a bilingual dictionary, and that hopefully it will give you some ideas on how to implement or introduce the use of a bilingual dictionary. It's a great tool, it's a book of two halves, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much.